Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We've got a bit of a spare Sunday ahead of us this week. We're doing the first autumn 2015 update next Sunday, final Sunday of the month. But this week we've got a bit of a free Sunday. So I thought I'd have a look at some of the long range models for late summer, sort of July through to September, before we get on sort of the autumn updates that we'll be doing next week. So we're going to have a look at the JMA 3 monthly forecast, which covers the July to September period. Also have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre, the Tech, and one or two other models as well. UK Met Office will be in there also, just to see what may be around the corner for the latter part of the summer. Now, before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all of the pages at gaswebbies.com. Have a browse through the widget, see if there's any articles that you're interested in, you'll be able to go off and read the article. And thanks so much for doing that. You've got to click through the link. Thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most pages. They open out within the content. They're very short, but when you've watched them, they'll close back up again. And all of these things are really helping to pay for the website. They allow me to talk to you via gaswebbies.com. So thanks so much for getting involved. Thanks for doing that. Most of the long-range charts that you see in this video can be found on the links page. Links to them, to the websites where the charts are, can be found on the links page. So just have a look at the links page. You'll be able to go and see most of these charts for yourself. And what else if they say? Oh yeah, later on we'll be doing the El Nino update. Been some interesting developments over the past month with El Nino, so we'll be having a look at what's going on in the Pacific on the ENSO page this afternoon. Come back if you're interested in what could be going on with El Nino. It does have potentially implications for the winter. And finally, Glastonbury. If you're waiting for the 5th Glasto update, it'll be on the events page this evening. Hope you get it a little bit earlier. So it's not been around 7 o'clock. I'm hoping to do it around 6 o'clock maybe, as this is coming into an earlier time frame of the GFS model updating. We should be able to start pushing out the updates a little bit earlier than we have been doing. But come back up this evening anyway for the latest on Glastonbury. Right, let's get on with the late summer look ahead, and we're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly chart from the JMA, the Japanese Meteorological Agency, for July. This is the anomaly chart for July first of all. Now what we see for this one is that we've still got this stubborn trough of below average heights around Iceland out in the Atlantic. Got a ridge through the central part of the Atlantic as we've had through most of June, and some bridging up over Scandinavia as well. So the flow here is generally westerly, and the jet stream going something like that. So it's still a relatively unsettled month for July. Could be bringing some bouts of rain in at times as well. The Azores high in the central part of the Atlantic, so the mid-Atlantic ridge is close, so it could give the south some protection. The north would always get the most unsettled conditions with that. But overall, probably relatively cool. Could be warmer at times in the south and the southeast. Now, as we go through to August, we see a very significant change on the Japanese 500 millibar height anomaly for August. So what we get then is this area of above average heights in the Atlantic ridging into the UK and sort of hooking up with this area of above average heights over Scandinavia. So quite a big ridge is developing there. This is sending a jet stream off up to the north of the country. And the flow overall, the wind direction overall, I think will start to go southerly, maybe southeasterly. So that could be a significantly warmer month through August. A lot of high pressure influences as well. It could also be significantly drier. So summer arrives, if this is right. Summer 2015, it can have a late arrival, but it finally gets going in August. And that looks like quite a nice anomaly for August. As we go through to September, quite decent signals again. We've got this area of above average heights up over Scandinavia. And some ridging through the central part of the Atlantic as well. The jet stream is going a bit like that. So again, for September, that looks quite good once again. A little bit more unsettled. That trough from the Atlantic is starting to encroach in, but overall a lot of high pressure influences going on once again as we go through into September. So if this is right, we are looking at things potentially improving for of a late summer period through the course of August and into September as well. Could turn significantly warmer and drier. The overall anomaly for July to September looks a bit like this from the JMA, with a ridge up over Scandinavia. Quite a bit of ridging in the Atlantic as well. Jet stream probably going off a bit like that. So again, just indicative that as we're going through this 3-monthly period, the latter part of the summer and into the early part of the autumn could see somewhat drier and warmer conditions. Let's have a look at the mid-latitude view from the JMA to have a look at all of this. And here we go with the 500 millimeter height anomaly chart for July. First of all, remember July is the one that's a bit dodgy still. We've got that trough up to the north. I can't really see it, but it's round Iceland, and the jet stream is coming through the country a little bit like that. So consequently, the temperature anomaly for July is coming out cooler than average. We're up there in the top right-hand corner of the chart, as you're looking at it on your screen, by the way. So the temperature anomaly for July coming out a bit cooler than average. The reason, not sure you can quite make this out, but the wind arrows show that the mean wind direction is from a northwesterly type direction, west to northwesterly once again, so relatively cool air being dragged in. And the rainfall anomaly is coming out a bit above average as well in most blue colours there for the precipitation anomaly. So wetter than average month is likely for July. Cooler and wetter than average is not going to be a great combination. I don't think it's going to be as bad as all that, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be a washout of a month, anything like that. But certainly above average rainfall, below average precipitations for July doesn't look all that great, if we're being honest. Now, as we go through to August, this is when we see signs of that significant change, with all that ridging starting to push in off the Atlantic. Here it comes with those orange and the yellow curves, above average heights building in, high pressure being signalled to be getting in across the country. What about the temperatures? Well, they're still a little bit on the modest side given the pattern. Northern parts still a bit below average. Southern areas a little bit above average. Overall, probably not a great deviation from the average. So, being a bit mean to us with the temperatures, that could be indicative of the cold sea surface temperature anomalies that we have in the Atlantic Ocean, actually. But I would expect temperature anomaly to be a bit better than that, really. Under a ridge of high pressure in August, it ought to be relatively warm month. The mean wind arrow direction is coming out sort of easterly, interestingly. So a bit easterly with the mean wind direction for the month. Again, in August, that should be relatively warm. It should be bringing in quite warm air out of central parts of Europe. And in terms of the rainfall anomaly, because we're building the ridge in, the precipitation anomaly is actually coming out drier than average for August. So it does turn significantly drier from July through to August. Temperatures lift up a little bit, but not great with the temperatures. But given the pattern, I would expect actually the temperatures in August to be quite a bit better than the model is signalling. And then finally, we're going to go through to September and have a look at what that's showing. And for September, remember we've got the ridge sitting to the east and the northeast of the country then. So it's in this sort of area, the above average heights, and over here, just there, with this trough of low pressure trying to get in off the Atlantic. But the wind direction, I would have thought, should be sort of southeasterly, so it should be quite warm, perhaps eventually turning a bit unsettled from the Atlantic Ocean. The temperature anomaly is still rather lowly for August, for September rather. Bit above average in the south, bit below average in the north, not really deviating that far from average. I would have thought that should be a warmer month, really, than that is signalling. The wind arrows show that the air masses should be coming from sort of a southeasterly type direction. Not sure you can quite make that out, but they should be generally southeasterly. So yeah, I'm not sure why the temperature anomalies are so poor for August and September. We have been seeing this across several models lately, and I can only think that it's probably down to the cold sea surface temperature anomalies that we have in the Atlantic Ocean. But I do think on the pattern, August and September should be, no guarantee, but should be a little bit a little bit warmer than average. The rainfall anomaly is interesting for September as well, because it's actually coming out a bit wetter than average down in the south. So maybe that trough digging in. Remember what we've got going on in September is low pressure here, trying to push in that way, and a ridge up here, trying to keep a settled weather from August going, with wind flow sort of that way. Maybe that trough of low pressure in the Atlantic is more influential, and that would explain the poor temperatures, actually. So September, a few caveats about that, to be honest. It looks on the face of it from the height anomaly that it should be a relatively dry, warm and settled month, but maybe not. Maybe that trough of low pressure in the Atlantic in September is somewhat more influential. But August looks better. Anyway, we do get a nice month in August. Now, this is a Russian model. This is temperature probability for July to September from Russia. And we'll deal with the temperatures first of all. The British Isles, I'm not sure if you can quite make it out, but the UK is just there. The temperature probability for the next 3 months, July to September, is coming out around average, maybe even a little bit below average in the north. So again, no real signal for warmth here through the coming 3 months. The temperature anomalies do look quite disappointing, around no better than average, maybe hinting a little bit below up in the north. The rainfall anomaly is coming out quite interestingly, actually. The rainfall anomaly is coming out a little bit drier than average here around the UK and the northern Atlantic. So again, below precipitation, and temperatures not really seem to be particularly warm, around average, a bit below average perhaps in the north, is a signal from a Russian model. This is sort of in line, I think, with the JMA, actually. No great deviation in terms of the temperatures, and the rainfall perhaps coming out a bit drier than average. This is the Tech IOD. We can only look at the summer for this. It just is broken down to seasonal periods. So it's sort of June to August, summer, September to November, autumn, December to February, winter, that kind of idea from the Tech. But interestingly, it is seeing, still, it was the case last month, I think, and the month before that, it is seeing a warmer than average summer coming up. And that takes into account quite a disappointingly cool June as well. So it is seeing that the summer temperature anomaly should be coming out warmer than average, and it's coming out drier than average for the summer as well. So it is seeing this ridge to be in across the country, giving a lot of dry, settled and pretty warm weather also. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly for the next 3 months from the Beijing Climate Centre. This is again taking us from July through to September. The orange colours are in nicely here. Look at this. The ridge is building through the country, so above average heights, almost centred right over the top of the UK. Actually, we've got a trough in the central part of the Atlantic to south of Greenland, and a bit of a trough over Scandinavia. The jet stream would be going rather like that, or like that. So the high pressure's in there. That looks pretty good for the coming 3 months. High pressure above average heights dominating. As a result, the Beijing Climate Centre is seeing a warmer than average late summer. Looking at the temperature anomalies coming out warm, in the warm category with the orange colours for July to September. And this could be backloaded, so it may be that July is a little bit cooler and more unsettled than this 3-monthly anomaly would imply. And then as we get through to August and September, that's when the ridge really takes over and brings those warm conditions. We can't say that for definite from this because it's a 3-monthly anomaly, but that's sort of what the JMA was hinting at. The precipitation anomaly for the coming 3 months is coming out drier than average. You'd expect it with a ridge through the country, but the confirmation is there. The orange colours are through the country. So again, we are looking at a warmer, drier than average period from July to September. Keep in mind that early on in July it could be more unsettled and cooler with these drier, warmer conditions sort of backloaded. Now we go through to the Brazilian model. This is the 500 millimeter height anomaly from July to September from Brazil. These are always different. So the blue colours here are telling us where we've got above average heights. The orange and red colours are telling us where we've got below average heights. On any other hydronomic chart, that would be the other way round. So this one is always trying to catch us out. So for this one, only for this one, blue is high pressure, red is low pressure. I'm sort of explaining that to myself more than anybody else so that I don't get confused. So what we're seeing with this one, what we're seeing is that we've got these blue colours right in over the country, and that is an area of above average heights from July to September, sitting over the country with the jet stream presumably going rather like that. So that's looking pretty good from Brazil as well for July through to September. Let's have a look and see what happens with the temperature with that one. There we go. Temperature's not all that exciting. We're just there, so the temperature anomaly is around average, not going particularly below average, but not going particularly above average, and with a big ridge almost over top of the country, you would expect the temperature anomaly to be better than that. So there is a consistent signal from all of these models, which is for quite a lot of settled weather through the late summer period, that the temperatures, other than on the Beijing Climate Centre, the temperatures do look really fairly disappointing. The rainfall anomaly, precipitation anomaly for the coming 3 months is turning out a bit drier than average. Well, average to a little bit drier than average. So that looks pretty good, other than the fact that the temperatures aren't all that good. And this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the UK Met Office. Now look at this, it's the same story. We've got the above average sea level pressure in over the top of the country there, through the British Isles. So again, it's signalling quite a bit of anticyclonic influences, quite a bit of high pressure from July through to September. What do the temperature anomalies show? Same old story. Although the ridge is in around the UK, the actual temperature anomaly is no better than average, maybe even hinting at being a little bit below average in the north and the west. I think this is down to what's going on in the Atlantic. Notice all this green here through the northern Atlantic Ocean. That's where we've got those cold sea surface temperature anomalies, and I think they are influencing the temperature anomaly for the UK for the coming 3 months on these models anyway. Notice how warm it is across most of Europe. Most of Europe getting warmer than average temperature anomalies from July to September. But because we've got this body of cool water sitting just to the west of us in the Atlantic Ocean, it pulls down, or the model thinks anyway, that it pulls down the temperatures for us. Whether it actually does remains to be seen, but that's what the model is thinking is going to happen. With a ridge sitting through the country, the rainfall anomaly from the UK Met is again coming out average to drier than average. We're going to finish with the new model. This is a new model that I've only just started using. This is from the Canadian model. This is from the GM, the Canadian. And we're starting off with temperature probabilities first of all, temperature anomalies I should say, first of all. This is the temperature anomaly for July. British Isles is over here. And different with this one, look at this, it's seeing a warmer than average month. We're in those orange colours there, we have the orange colours through the country. So it is seeing a warmer than average July. This is very different to what all the other models have been showing. And then as we go through to August, quite interestingly for August, the temperature anomaly there is coming out, again, a bit above average, not as much as in July, but it is still seeing above average temperature anomalies for August. And this is more, actually, this is more what I would expect from an anomalous ridge to be sitting over the country. I would expect temperature anomalies to be quite good, and that is what we are seeing there from the model for August. I wanted to try and show you September, but I seem to have been we've got a bit lost here with what the charts are showing, so we'll probably leave it there, although maybe we can go over here and have a look. So what we need to do is go down to thermodynamics, go to 2 meter temperatures, and we should here be able to get September's temperature anomaly up. Actually, we can't we can't do that. This is a new model for me, so I've not been using this all that often. Let's see if we can maybe push through here. That might take us through, does it? I don't think it's going to. So we're going to have to leave it there with the Canadian model. But certainly for July and for August, the Canadian is looking a little bit better with the temperatures than the other two. And by the way, you can find the Canadian model at the website Tropical Tidbits, and you can get to the link to that from the links page. I'm going to have to sort those charts out a little bit more when I use them. You will be seeing it more often and more regularly in the updates when we get a little bit more used to using the website and the models. But that's how it's looking anyway. I hope you found the video interesting. I think we have got a clear trend there, which is for more and more of high pressure for the latter part of the summer. Not sure about July, but certainly as we go through into August and September, we could start to see warmer conditions coming through and sort of high pressure type conditions. And I would think that should be warmer, but the models are sort of showing it to be cooler. But sometimes you have to override what the models are saying. And with so much high pressure building through in the latter part of the summer, I would think it should turn warmer. It should also be quite dry in the latter part of the summer as well. So we've not had much of a summer yet for June. But things could get a little bit better as we get through to the latter stages of the summer. Right, that's it for the late summer update. Hope you found it interesting. Sorry I went a little bit wrong at the end, but hope it was useful for giving you some ideas of what may happen later on in the summer. Anyway, come back later on to the ENSO page when we'll have the very latest on El Nino. And of course, tonight is the new Glastonbury update. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.